Good morning. Coming to you live in the gym this early morning in Southern Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment and still counting. 110 floors for Battalion Chief Matthew Ryan, FDNY, out of Manhattan, the Duane Street Circus, housed with Engine 7, Ladder 1, and Battalion 1. Our brother was 53 years old on his response to 9/11 and served 28 years with the FDNY. His initial house as a firefighter and captain was Engine 280 in the Bedford-Stuyvesant Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. Prior to him being transferred to the Battalion 1 when he was promoted to Battalion Chief approximately 1 year before 9/11. Dedicated to his wife Margaret of 32 years and grown children at the time, Joyce, Megan, and Matthew. So the 292nd brother is taking his climb down to 51 left in the initial commitment. This is the 343 commitment and still counting. And we're just about to get that first vertical at 7 kicked off. The climb encompasses a total of 7 verticals. On completion, gets us to the 101st floor. And it's only a short time after that. And we'll reach the 110. So, in doing the research off of Battalion Chief Matthew Ryan, it said that he'd gone off to Vietnam, and when he came back, he actually met his wife Margaret, who they were together for 32 years. They had 3 children, Joyce, Matthew, and Megan. And I believe they also had a grandson, Michael. This climb is dedicated to you all for the sacrifices that were made so that others can live. Our brother responded to the worst terrorist attack in U.S. history. It was part of the greatest rescue effort. Where upwards of 25,000 were saved. This is our brother's climb. Telling his story all the way to the top. As I said before, he got his start in the Crown Heights section of Bedford, Stuyvesant, Brooklyn on Engine 280. Our brother was said to be a very good leader. It said even at the worst fires, you could find Battalion Chief Ryan whispering into one of the firefighters' ears tactics and things like that. He was very calm and collected when he was working. Our brother was a firefighter and a captain, both, out of Engine 280. Prior to moving to the Manhattan's Duane Street Circus, there with Engine 7 and Ladder 1. His wife, Margaret, in the article I was reading, mentioned he loved 3 things outside of his family itself and the love of the job. He played the FDNY hockey. He was on the team for over 20 years. And it was said that the three things he loved the most was reading the newspaper, listening to his favorite radio station, which is WFUV out of Fordham University, and watching hockey, pretty much doing all these at the same time. It was said that our brother on a Sunday night could be found sitting in his chair watching the game on hockey with that WFUV from Fordham University, his radio station, in the background, and reading his newspaper. It was said that he loved reading the newspaper so much he would read it every single day, and even if they went on vacation, he would have all of the newspapers still delivered. And when he was on vacation, he would read all the local newspapers. So that was something he did daily. Then once he got back, he read all the newspapers that had been delivered, one by one. As I said before, our brother, Battalion Chief Matthew Ryan, served our country, went to Vietnam, and when he came back, he met his wife, Margaret, of 32 years. Had 3 children, Joyce, Megan, and Matthew, and a grandson, Michael, I believe. Taking our brother up right now to the 110th floor with honor and respect given for the sacrifices made so that others could live. "28 years on the job at the FDNY. It's amazing to see how many years of service our brothers in this commitment have given. So many years of service. Our brother served his country and the citizens of New York. We will never forget. They will never just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. Like today, their stories will be told. So their families, his wife Margaret, and children Joyce, Megan and Matthew, and Michael, his grandson, will know that his legacy will always be carried forward. This is the reason we climb, to keep them in the forefront, to know that 19 years in and we've kept our promise. We haven't forgotten, and we will never forget. This is why we climb. Pushing them up to the very top. Each and every brother of the 343 will take their day and make that climb. One by one, their stories told. It's just the way it is. And now, there's 292 going up right now, down to 51 brothers left to take that vertical. Right now it's for Manhattan's Duane Street Circus, Battalion 1, with Engine 7 and Ladder 1 off Duane Street. Our brother was promoted to Battalion Chief at the Duane Street Circus, Battalion 1. almost a year to the date before 9/11. Responded to the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil. Was part of the greatest rescue effort in U.S. history. Upwards of 25,000 were saved because of the bravery, heroism, and valor that was shown that day. And for those days that followed, with the ants still counting, those who worked the pile of ground zero for days, weeks, and months until it was declared complete. This commitment is the 343 commitment, and still counting, because we will not forget the sacrifices made due to exposure to 9/11 sickness and 9/11 cancers. It's just the way it is. We will always remember the recovery effort, our brothers and sisters who were there trying to bring resolve to the families, the FDNY and our nation, our great country, which has all seemed at one point or another to have forgotten what happened. We will never forget. Crimes happen all over the United States, taking our brothers all the way to that 110th floor. Each and every one that we carry with their photograph on the lanyard, taking each one to the top. The runs through the Tunnel and Towers Foundation, and other runs and the 5Ks and memorial runs based on 9/11. Keep our brothers alive. In our climbs, we tell their stories. For our brother, Battalion Chief Matthew Ryan, this is his turn to go to the very top. For his wife Margaret of 32 years, who they met sitting across from each other after he came back from Vietnam. Our brother not only gave 28 years of service to the FDNY and the citizens of New York, but our brother was also in the armed forces and went to Vietnam. We will never forget his service to our country and his service to the citizens of New York. It's just what it is. This is why we climb. Our brother loved hockey so much that he played on FDNY's hockey team. Over 20 years on the team. Loved his family. Loved his job. Our brother had 3 loves in life, outside of all the others, according to Margaret, his wife. He loved watching hockey. He loved listening to his favorite radio, WFUV out of Fordham University. And he loved reading the newspaper. He would read the newspaper every single day without fail. Whether it be his local newspaper he had delivered, or if he went on vacation, he'd be reading all the newspapers from the local area where he was on vacation. This is to give honor and respect for our brother, who was very silent in how he was a leader. It was said that on the job, because of his style, he could actually be hurt on an incident, and nobody would know until he was getting transported to the hospital. He was very silent. On major fires, it said that he would speak to the younger firefighters, almost like a whisper in their ear, to keep a calming presence, no matter how bad the incident was. According to Margaret, his wife, the trifecta for him was on a Sunday night where he would sit back in his chair and turn on a hockey game, listen to WFUB radio at Fordham University, and be reading the local paper. She said, in the dawn hours of the early morning, you could walk in and he'd be asleep in the chair with the hockey game going and WFUV blaring away from Fordham University, which I guess is like the college channel for the radio there. And it said our brother loved all types of music that he would listen to. This is given with honor and respect for those sacrifices made so that others can live. We're now over the one halfway point for this climb. For our brother to be carried to the top of the tower. We've got 3 last verticals, 2 more after this one finishes, which will get us up to the 101st floor. Only 9 floors after that, and this climb will be completed. For our brother, Battalion Chief, Battalion 1 FDNY, Matthew Ryan, 53 years old at the time of his response to 9/11. Taking our brother to that very top to finish his footsteps. And those who've gone before him. The 292nd time I've gone vertical with 51 brothers left to take. This is why we climb. To tell their stories. To keep their memories alive. For his wife, Margaret, of 32 years, and his adult kids at the time, Joyce, Megan, and Matthew. And he also had a grandson, I believe is Michael. For his 28 years of service and his U.S. Armed Services time, we will never forget. We will always remember. This is why we climb, to tell their stories, so they will not be a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. 19 years later, we still tell it. Coming up on the 20th anniversary later this year, we're still going to continue to tell their stories. The families will know that they will never be forgotten. This is why we climb. This is why the 343 commitment and still counting exists. After the initial 343 climbs, the and still counting will take their place one by one. When I'm talking about the and still counting, it's those who responded as part of the recovery effort after the rescue effort on 9/11. Those who worked the pile at ground zero. Those who succumbed to 9/11 cancers and illnesses. And lives were taken too soon. They will make their journey one by one, never forgotten. Alphabetical. Going to the top right now for Battalion Chief Matthew Ryan. Out of Manhattan's Duane Street Circus on Duane Street. He's housed, Battalion 1's housed with Agent 7 and Ladder 1. Pushing him up to finish his floors. Going to that 110. This is super early this morning, but got to get it in when I have the opportunity. Again, this is a commitment to carry our brothers no matter when, no matter how many times I have to stop and start again. For his wife, Margaret, for 32 years. For his adult children, Joyce, Megan, Matthew, and his grandson, Michael. This is his memorial climb. Pushing him up for his love of his country, of the FDNY, of his family, his trifecta of hockey, his favorite radio station, WFUB from Fordham University, and his love of catching up on the news on a daily basis. So much that Margaret had mentioned in an article I read that even if they went out of town, he'd read the local newspaper every day. Even if they went out of town, all the papers would still be delivered. So the moment he got back home, he could read them one by one to catch up on anything that he didn't have. Our brother played hockey. He played hockey, loved watching hockey, but he played hockey for the FDNY, on the FDNY hockey team. We will never forget. And right now we're coming up to that second, actually, correction, we're at the last vertical coming up in a few seconds. 90th floor and counting. Going towards the 110. A little bit more, and we'll get to that 101st floor. For into 280 out of the Bedford-Stuyvesant Crown Heights section of Brooklyn, where our brother was initially a firefighter there, promoted to captain at the same truck, prior to promoted to battalion chief almost a year to date of 9/11. Just 1 year before, with Battalion 1, the Dean Street Circus in Manhattan. Into 7 Battalion 1, and ladder one. Taking them up, finishing the footsteps. We're almost there. The last backside of this last vertical to get us to the 101st, and then it's only 9 floors left to go to the top. Pushing him up with complete honor and respect. 28 years of service. In the FDNY, 28 years. Our brother have given around half of his life of service to the FDNY, to the citizens of New York, to his family, to his love of his country and of the job. 101. Climbing upward. Pushing him up to finish this last part of the journey with honor and respect. This is the second climb of this tour. Taking him up. For his wife Margaret, they met after our brother came back from Vietnam. Said they were sitting across from each other when they saw each other. Pushing him to that very top to finish these last 9 floors. We've gotten this far. We ain't stopping till we reach it. Going there. Last few floors. For his service to his country. For 28 years. Starting as a firefighter and then a captain. In 8280s in Brooklyn. The Bedford Stuyvesant Crown Heights area. Prior to a year before 9/11, being promoted to battalion chief of Battalion 1, Manhattan's Duane Street Circus. Ladder 1 into 7, Battalion 1. And Battalion Chief, we reach the top. Battalion Chief Ryan, rest easy, sir. We'll take it from here.